What's happening, everyone? This is Jim from JCRC. You know, I already started this project and it didn't even dawn on me to bust out the camera and record it. I pulled the transfer case out of the truck right over yonder here. And some reason my flash, there we go. Now I got a flash. So Mr. Transfer Case is out of the truck. I'm getting ready to, where did I put it? Getting ready to install this on there. The Boom Racing low profile transfer case mount. Some part number if anybody's interested. Had a hell of a time getting the screws out. I ended up using a where is it? I ended up using this little Torx bit here, and literally had to hammer it into the screw heads to get them loose. It's a good thing the kit provided new screws, so that'll take care of that. So we're staring at the transfer case mount in here. And I need to remove that without removing all this crap, so this is going to be interesting. Where to start? Well, I already removed one of my body mounts here from the stock body mount location, and just kind of swung it up out of the way. I'm probably going to do the same thing on the other side, and then pull these little plastic tabs off here. That way I'm just pulling the screw out of the aluminum for the actual mount, because there's a screw on the inside coming back out. Truck's rocking all over the place here. There's a screw on the inside here coming back out, and one on the outside going back in. The one right here is going into this plastic mount, so I'm going to pull that plastic mount off. That way I'm not fighting the plastic. And so I'll go ahead and do that right now. And I don't necessarily recommend doing things the way that I'm doing it. Using those pliers. Voila. Yeah, I had the front tire off on this side. There's no reason why I had it off other than I was looking at Asia T's website, and they had some different axles on there. Pretty good deal too. Like 69 bucks for a front axle, and it has a 45-degree turning radius. And so I took this one apart and was trying to figure out why this one didn't have a 45-degree turning radius, and if there's anything that I could do about it. And there's really nothing you can do about it. It has to do on the inside of the drive shaft, or on the inside of the axle, where this yoke is here. There's like a little square cutout for the dog bone and the spindle to fit together, and it just has a little. It just has a couple little angles cut in it like this, and that's where everything's rotating in between, you know, and it just kind of stops on either end of the angle. So there's really nothing you can do about that, unless you went in there with a file or something and just went crazy with the file for about an hour, and then you could probably get some more turning radius out of it. But nevertheless, I still actually have the axles are keyed up on my phone. The whole order is keyed up on my phone, but I just kind of steered away from it for a minute because I'm not too sure what I want to do with that. Different note, WL Toys, I ordered some parts for that guy, so they will be here tomorrow morning. And hopefully we get that guy walking across water. So we'll find out with that. Back to the project at hand. I got to take out this other tab. And this winch line just keeps getting wrapped around everything in sight. Can't believe this winch still works, man. After all the water that I put it through. Unbelievable. Well, alright, worked at this one with the pliers for a couple minutes. Got the other body mount off. Some big long screws on these guys. Glad or at least on this one up here, it's a pretty long screw. Must have been stripped out a little bit. So now I need to take off this other screw right here, along with its brother on the other side, or twin, and get these other guys out too. I'm going to have to take these guys from the inside out. So, 1 minute for that guy. Wee bit of rust on that there screw. Yeah, same with the other one. A little bit of corrosion there. And we are back. I can't believe how easily those screws came out. The two inner screws in here, piece of cake. And they haven't been touched since, well, since I built the truck. I built this thing on my birthday, February 25th, a few months ago. So all those screws are out, and this guy is coming out of here. The old shovel. And where's the new one? Yeah, it's a little lower. Not much though, really. We'll see. I believe it goes in like this. Looking at the old one for a reference here on the table. Yeah, something like that. Let me get the screws started here. Sorry for the bad angles here. All right, I guess before I put the inside screws in, I'm going to put the outside screws. I'm just going to start them in there. I am using the screws that they provided. I could have used my old ones, but why do that when they give you brand new screws? And I am going to use a little bit of blue Loctite on them. This isn't Loctite brand. This is my local hobby store brand. But I'm going to put a little dab of that on there and get these guys started here real quick. This is the stuff that you would normally see off camera. They supplied screws for all this stuff here. They did supply screws, but the screw coming back out from the back side, I needed it to be longer to go into the body mount post because the hole is kind of stripped out on the body mount post. So I decided to use my own screw on that, and that happens to be a different thread than the Boom Racing transfer case bracket here, so, or cross member or whatever mount. So I ended up, I was trying to start it on the back side, which is how it's supposed to go in here. This is where it's at, right up here on the top corner, right up in this area. Nevertheless, I figured I'd run it through from the inside out or outside in, just to make sure that everything was centered before I ran it from the inside out. Since there's not much room to work with on the inside here, so nevertheless, it got stuck in the hole. So I had to take out the other 2 set screws, stripped out the thread on the top, couldn't get it apart. So I'm using a pair of Robo Grip pliers. Gripping the hell out of it at the top here, and then turning the actual transfer case mount, because that's where all the leverage is at, to try to unscrew this. And she's out. Alrighty. You know what? That is funny. These are M3 screw holes. I grabbed another Trail Finder 2 screw, and it threads right in. Oh. It threads right in there. Threads in on the back side too. On all of them except the one that I stripped out. Or I started to retap out or whatever. This one doesn't thread in on the back side. All the rest of them do. And I didn't mess up the hole on the back side, so I don't even know if this one's even threaded on this one, on the one here. So I'm gonna have to run a screw through it a couple times. I'm probably gonna trash a couple screws, but I'm gonna have to put some threads in this somehow or another. So I'm gonna, since I need a 20mm screw, I threw out the one that I previously wrecked. So this is my last 20mm. So I'm gonna find some shorter screws and try chasing this out a few times, and try to put a thread into it. So one moment. Well, guys, since I don't have a set of taps, and trying to tap this thing out is really messing up the screws, I just gripped this with the Robo Grips and was twisting this by hand, and it's really not tapping it out on the inside. I mean, it's putting some threads in there, but right now I'm thinking that it's probably going to break a screw, and then I'm going to be SOL, so to speak. So I might just drill this hole out and then run the screw through the back side and put the plastic body mount down on top of it and crank it down, and hopefully that just kind of holds it in place, and have to rely on the other three screws for structural support. Because like I said, I'm afraid that I'm going to break a screw off inside this hole, and I'm really going to be in trouble if that happens. So I think right now the best bet would be to just drill this out a little bit and run straight through it and put the plastic body mount on the back. So hold tight for that. Alright guys, well, I drilled it out one size. Tried another screw to see if it would slide through, and it wouldn't slide through. So I grabbed another test screw and just ran it through the hole here. So I am putting a little bit of a thread on it. I don't think it's going to focus down that far. Nevertheless, there is a little bit of a thread in there. I need to be able to get it through from the back side too, which is seems to be working here. So I think we're good to go. Try to get this guy reinstalled here. And we are wrenching away here. Putting the last little body mount post up back on here. Still need to put the transfer case in. Figured I'd show a little bit of the boring stuff. A little bit more to go. I think she's home. I don't know how much lower it is. I guess it's a little bit lower. I did break a leaf spring in the process over on this side. So, looks like I'll be replacing the leaf spring. Alright, let me see what the fitment is like here with the transfer case off camera before I start making myself look like too much of a fool. Alright, I got the transfer case back in here. It's just sitting in here, it's not mounted up. The first thing I'm doing is mounting the transmission shaft here back onto the transfer case. And I'm going to reattach that and then proceed to attaching the transfer case to the actual mount. I slid all this in from the top down. I left the rear drive shafts portion attached. That way I knew which direction the transfer case was going back in. And so let me get the set screw through this guy here, and then we'll start running these screws in. And I got one transfer case screw in, and a little bit of blue Loctite on this next one to go in, which is the last one in the for the process here. Oh, that one's tight. You hear the wrench spin over, you know it's tight. Alright, just need to hook up the drive shafts here and repair this leaf spring. 1 second. And she is all hooked up. And then I started digging through my stuff to try to find a replacement leaf spring here. I do have 4 red super soft leaf springs like I have on the front. But ever since I broke that one on the back, I've just been running the stock ones, and I've got 1 stock leaf spring left. So I'm going to put this guy on there. So it looks like I'll get a little bit more life out of it before I have to start putting my red ones on the back. So far I've only broken 1 red one on the front. But I've gone through several of these black ones on the back so far, seeing as this is the last one. 1 second here. Alright, well, while I was in here replacing that broken leaf spring, Turns out the smallest leaf spring that I run on the bottom, I usually run the biggest leaf spring and the smallest one. Broke one of the smallest ones. That was my last small leaf spring. I do have 2 of the medium leaf springs left in the center of the pack. So I took one of those and I used my broken piece that was left over and just kind of lined up the holes, crimped it between 2 pairs of pliers, and just worked that edge back and forth until it snapped off. So I essentially took one of those medium ones and turned it into a small one. And we are back. New leaf springs are installed, or leaf spring is installed, along with the custom one that I had to cut for the lower part. I also had to replace the bottom half of one of my shocks here. This is on the same side with the broken leaf spring. Little brass collar slid out of the inside. Happens all the time. I need to put some get some washers to put behind these screws. I actually ordered some, but they won't be here till tomorrow morning. So I stole one of these off of one of my old 80mm shocks. All I need to do is put the tire back on it, and we're all set with the project. And there we go. She's all back together. Tools are put away. It definitely seems to have raised up the transfer case a little bit. That is for sure. She's up quite a bit. Compared to the stock one anyways. This being the stock mount. Our new guy here. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I know with the other stock, with the stock transfer case mount, there's no way that I could slide a tape measure underneath here. It is lifting up the truck slightly when I hit it, but if you look at the top of the screen, see it lift up just a little bit. That's a lot more ground clearance than what it had before. Not too shabby. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This is Jim from JCRC, installing a Boom Racing low profile transfer case mount on the Trail Finder 2. Thanks for watching everyone. Have a great day. Click like and subscribe. And like I said in the beginning of the video, as far as the amphibious WL Toys goes, I did order new stuff for that, so that stuff should be here tomorrow morning, including metal gears for the transmission, some Vatera gears. So we'll get that guy back on the water here real quick, and hopefully have some better results this time. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see ya.